Welcome back for Season 3 of All Things Excellence, where women in leadership and business come to be challenged to learn and to grow. I'm your host, Chelsea DeBruin-Colbert, clarity coach, Enneagram guide, community builder, and your go-to girl for becoming the most excellent version of yourself. Here on All Things Excellence, we are obsessed with shining light on women who are doing the deep work and playing full out in the arena. We bring you their brilliance, their stories, and the magic they bring into the world. This season, I'm determined to step into the most powerful, profitable, peaceful, and aligned version of myself yet. So buckle up, because I'm bringing you with me. When one woman rises, we all get permission to rise as well. If you're ready to grow, rise, and step into your next level with effortless ease and love being surrounded by women who are doing the same, you're in the right place. Welcome to All Things Excellence. Hey, All Things Excellence fam. I am back in the office after almost a 2-week hiatus, and we're going to talk about what do I do after post-vacay re-entry and what that looks like. So first up, we had our graduation at my husband's school. Then we had our annual nephew trip. Two of my nephews fly in. They fly in with my brother and his wife, their mom. And then from there, they were here for over a week. Or about a week. And then I flew back to Iowa with them, went to my nanny girl's graduation. Her name is Lizzie. And then the night, literally we left the graduation party. The graduation party was over at 4. We were helping clean up. 4:30, we got in the car. We headed to the airport and my mom flew back with me. We landed about 12:30 in the morning. My husband picked us up. We got home, got to bed after 1 o'clock, woke up, left our house at 6:30 in the morning, and I helped her run a vendor booth for her direct sales business downtown at the convention center. And then she stayed 2 more days. So when you span all that out, it was almost 2 weeks. It was 12 full days with very minimal to no work. Now, I have known for a long time that this span was going to be coming, that this was going to be happening. And one of the things I did was a little bit of preparation. First of all, I let my one-on-one clients know. My schedule had been blocked out for a really long time, so no one could book anything. I couldn't plan anything, but I let my one-on-one clients know, who have a lot of access to me, exactly what was happening, where I was going, what I was going to be up to. And most mornings, they knew that I was going to be available to voice message back and forth with them. I go on my early morning weighted vest walks like the 40-year-old woman that I am. And I was still doing that every single day on vacation, Monday through Friday. I do it every single Monday through Friday, no matter what, no matter the weather. I'm out there, I'm walking, and I live in Arizona, so it is hot. And I would spend that time getting back to them early in the morning on the Monday through Friday days. Next, I let my employees know my exact schedule in case there was some wild emergency, because there was a lot of times where I had no service. We traveled down to Tombstone and Bisbee on the border. And there was a lot of times where my husband was driving, or maybe I was driving. We're in malls. At one point, we're at the 3rd floor of a 7-layer mine, a silver mine. I'm down in the earth. I have beyond no service. So they knew what was going on if they needed to get a hold of me. We brain dumped everything that needed to be done before I left the office, and we made sure that it was all done and scheduled. And then I reminded them that they're more than capable. I'll tell y'all, my team is crazy, crazy good, and I have the right people doing the right things. They're operating in their gifts, and we just made sure that we were equipped and ready. We knew this was coming for about 6 months, and we always plan accordingly. This happens every year, this little graduation, vacation, graduation sprint. This year was a few extra days adding on the trip with my mom, but we knocked it out. So on vacation, what I did as far as work goes, I barely glanced at emails. One of those lightly glancing at emails to make sure there isn't a ship burning down somewhere, but I left them all marked unread, so they were there when I came back. I also left a lot of texts unread. At one point, I had a client go, "Did you get this message that I sent you 2 days ago?" And I said, yes, I did. I'm on vacation right now, and I didn't want to miss it. I wanted to make sure I got to it when I came back. So I'm leaving it unread, but I will be back in the office Tuesday afternoon. I'll be there, and I'll get back to you. And this was the Wednesday before. So she knew it was going to be about a week before I got back to her. And then obviously on vacation, those one-on-one clients, I was leaving early morning voice messages a couple of the days, the Monday through Friday days while I was on vacay. Now, what happened post vacation? I'm going to tell y'all the 10 things that I did to really do a great reentry and the order that I did them. This is what I do every single time. First, I clean my email. That's where I start. And you might think the first thing you did was clean your email. Well, the reason is every single night I do not go to bed. I do not leave my office until my emails are set at 0. Now, obviously, if I'm walking out of my office at like 4 in the afternoon and I'm not coming back, like that's the end of day. Like that's nighttime for me in my office. But I love making sure every single email is read, assigned, replied to, dropped in the appropriate folder, or flagged with something that I need to do at a future notice. And so the first thing that I did was clean my email because I knew there were a ton of tasks that were probably hidden in that email. And it was one of the most important things that I needed to do and get through. The second thing that I did was I created a brain dump. Everything I could possibly pour out of my brain that was lingering, I dumped it out onto my brain dump sheet, which a lot of the things when I was sorting through email, there was a lot of things that got added to that brain dump list when I was cleaning the email. So again, that's why I cleaned the email. It helped start the brain dump list. And then I was simply adding to the brain dump list after the email was cleaned. The third thing that I did, I assessed the week and the month. I got really lucky the way that it was all set up this trip that, my mom was here on the 1st and the 2nd, and by the afternoon of the 2nd, she was on her plane and she was back. And so, that late afternoon on the 2nd, I got to assess the week. Like, what am I still going to get out of this week? What kind of juice am I still going to squeeze out of the berries of this week? But I also got to assess the month and look at what am I doing this month? What am I doing? What do I have workshops? What are my speaking engagements? How much coaching is already set up? Am I traveling more? Where am I going? Do I have all my flights? How have I booked that hotel? So again, looking at that, assessing, adding to the brain dump list. And then I visited my stretch goals. Y'all know I'm a big fan of the 3 areas of growth, picking 3 areas of growth out of the 8 areas of growth. And I went to that worksheet that I love. How do I want this month to feel with my 3 stretch goals? What progress would I like to see in those 3 areas? And what am I willing to do in order to experience those results? So again, there's 8 areas. The 8 areas I've talked about a million times. You can flip back to previous episodes if you're new here. And I have 3 areas that I'm focused on this year. And again, I ask myself, how do I want this month to feel? What progress would I like to see in those areas? And what am I willing to do to experience those results? The 5th thing that I did was I created a brand new summer schedule from my Plan Your Week sheet. Over the next 90 days, my schedule looks wildly different. My husband has absolutely no sports, but he also has soccer camp that I have nothing to do with every Tuesday and Thursday in the month of June. So when I say a woman's life drastically changes every single 90 days, I mean it. And I even know that for my own life. The next 90 days of summer, June, July, and August, look insanely different than the rest of my year. I have so much free time. I think I'm going to get a Kindle and read some of these like Nantucket summer books that all my friends are reading and posting about, because why not? I've got all this free time and I do not want to find myself overworking, because that would be my tendency. I would go, I have the time to do it. I should like reconfigure my website. I should redo this. I should rewrite something else. No, I do not want to do that. I want to make sure that I enjoy summer. And I ask myself, what do I want this summer to feel like? What does enjoying this summer look like to me? What does it feel like? What does it look like? With no sports, a lot of travel, and I've got more group coaching than normal. What do I want it to look like? And what do I want it to feel like? And again, when I ask myself those questions, it's when I was like, I think I need to get a Kindle. So my friends are letting me know which kind I should get. Number 6, I scheduled out the tasks for the week and the month. I look at the brain dump list. Like, what needs to happen? Does it need to happen today, this week, or this month? And I schedule it out accordingly. I literally go to my Google Calendar that is synced on my laptop, and I schedule out tasks to make sure that I get them done. If for some reason I can't get that task done or something took a little bit longer, I love that I can move it. Literally drag and drop it to later or tomorrow. Number 7, I reset our fridge. Holy smoking wow. Now, if most Americans watched what we ate on vacation, they would say, girl, what are you even talking about? Are you kidding me? Like, you did so great. Like, you really didn't eat bad at all. I don't know what you're saying. Like, I don't know what you're thinking. But for us, what we consider eating really terrible and bad, we went a little sideways on vacation. I mean, we had ice cream multiple times. My brother loves ice cream, and the boys love ice cream, and we passed a lot of little ice cream shops, and we definitely had more ice cream than our tummies are used to. So we reset that fridge. We cleaned out every single thing. You know, my nephews were here. Like, if they want to have potato chips and potato chip dip, I'm like, get your potato chips and get your potato chip dip, boys. Like, get it. Absolutely. And they did. We definitely had some of it. And when it was left, we threw it out. We cleaned it out. We did not worry about waste. We worried about resetting our bodies, our brains, our energy. We pulled out my plan your week sheet for meals. I have a meal planning sheet. We pulled that out and we got back really serious on exactly what foods are best for us to eat, that are best to feed our brain and feed our body, because we eat for energy, not for enjoyment. But I also think that, I mean, I have a friend that we talk about this a lot. My friend Kendrick, she was like, I think I like eating for enjoyment. I was like, well, can we eat for energy and it can be enjoyable? How about that? Like, eat for energy, feed your brain, feed your body. And I suppose you can pick foods that are enjoyable as well. Like, nobody ever said steak was bad, right? Number 8, immediately, like the moment I reemerged, I had 2 full back-to-back client coaching days. And I knew it was going to be like that. I scheduled it like that because I didn't want time to go where I wasn't able to get with those clients. And then I scheduled a day to rest. I scheduled a full day to rest because I knew that those 12 days, like running around to graduation parties, it was a trip, not a vacation. If you've heard this before, if you have kids, if you're on vacation with kids, that is not a vacation. That is a trip. There was a lot of cooking, a lot of cleaning, a lot of coordinating, just laundry, and so many things to navigate with the 2 littles. They are 5 and 9 and going a million miles an hour, always making a mess. And I'm absolutely here for it. But it was a nonstop thing. And so I knew that I would need a full day built in. I knew I would not be able to last the entire week, but that I would need a really light, easy day where I went in the office for a couple hours and then checked out the rest of the day. And then last but not least, number 10, I asked myself a few questions. These are the questions that I asked myself when I came back from that vacation. 1, what am I glad I did to prepare for being away? What am I glad that I did? Because this is not going to be the last time that this happens. Honestly, this summer, it's happening pretty frequently. Number 2, what boundaries did I love and also not like while I was away? What boundaries did I create for myself? And what did I love? And what were the boundaries I didn't like so much? Like, I can tell y'all, telling all my clients, like, hey, y'all, sorry, I'm out of the office except for my one-on-ones. I'll respond to you in the morning between like 5 and 7 a.m. I've never done that before. I've always tried to be like, no, I'm on vacation. I'm not doing it. I'm not responding at all. I loved that boundary of saying, like, I will respond in this time period and telling myself that and responding during that, because I missed them. Like, of course I was having fun. Of course I was enjoying my family, but I also missed just being in the mix with those one-on-one clients, knowing what's happening with their lives and their business. I love being there. I do not hate my job, and it does not feel like work, and it did not feel energy draining. So I loved that. Number 3, what could I have done to make those almost 2 weeks go even smoother? What could I have done to make it go even smoother? I don't know, y'all. It was this is the one thing that I did think of is I flew in really, really early Thursday morning. My brother had to be back by noon, so we left before the crack of dawn on a flight that morning. And as we're heading to the airport, I thought to myself, well, this is ridiculous. There's nothing I need to do until tomorrow at 2:00. I mean, I don't want to fly in tomorrow and risk that, but I definitely could have taken a late afternoon flight with my sister-in-law and the boys, and we could have flown back. So that was one thing, was, really analyzing, did every single person need to be back by noon, or really did he just need to be back by noon? It's little things like that. What decisions could I have done differently to make that whole time go even smoother, where I wouldn't have had as that really early morning and started that portion of my little hiatus really tired? Number 4, was my time away too long? I'm always tracking how many sleeps I do well being away from home and where my limit is with that. I will say I used to think about travel and I would get really sick. My immune system had been run down really low. My stress was really high. Just adrenal shot. And I have worked my butt off for the last, I don't know, many years now at this point with my friend Dr. Asby. She's been on here a couple different times to restore all of that. And the fact that my head was down and running a million miles an hour for almost 2 weeks, lots of travel, lots of kids and people and shaking hands and hugging and planes. And not for one single minute did I even get remotely sick was a really big deal for me. It just shows that my body is top notch. It's taking care of itself. So that was very exciting. But I'm always looking at that. Like, was I away too long? Or could it have even been longer? Could I have successfully been gone even longer, especially with all the systems that I have in place with my team, what they were able to do while I was gone? Number 5, how did I protect my energy well? And what should I do differently in the future? And when I think about protecting my energy well, I think about the sleep that I got, the schedule that I set up for us, the food that I put in my body. I think about the people, like the people that I was around, the houses that I was sleeping in. One thing that we tend to do, we tend to sleep in Airbnbs when we go back to visit our family. And the biggest thing, I did not do that this time. And what I can tell you is what I could have done better was bedtime. I was exceptional when we were here at my house and I was in charge with all of them and we were going to bed. Like it was like 8 o'clock every night. We're like, okay, y'all, we're taking our magnesium and we're going to bed. Y'all can stay up as late as you want, but like we're going to bed, knowing that our bodies would wake up at like 5-ish with the sun. But when I was in Iowa those 2 nights and then the late night flight home where I really didn't get to bed until like 1:32 a.m., those were really late nights. And 2 of them, it was really because I put myself in that environment where I knew there was no way I was going to bed early. Like I was going to burn the midnight oil with the person that I was with. I don't know. Like, would I do that differently? Would I go to bed earlier? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. It's tough to say, right? Because one of the nights was with Lizzie and she's graduating from high school and going to college. So she said, oh, I should let you go to bed. She calls me Yaya. And I remember looking at her and going, hey man, like this whole trip is for you. I'll stay up all night long if you want to. And I don't really know how to say no to that. But I do think that was an exception. It was her graduation weekend. And for the most part, it really does serve me best to stay at a hotel or an Airbnb just because I have more energy to do tasks than basically anybody on the planet, but I have very limited people bandwidth. And it's the people bandwidth that I start getting a little tired. And nobody wants the tired version of me. And I've really given myself that permission to honor that. My husband is the same way, which is why, again, we love staying in Airbnbs when we go back home. It's just the best for everybody. And then the thing that I did really well was our vacation flow. I really set our adventures up for the number one thing to protect my energy. I thought about that. And I also thought about the kids, which is protecting my energy. At the end of the day, protecting my energy, protecting my sanity. What is the schedule? How rested is everyone going to be? So that was a recap, y'all. That's the 10 things that I did. First, when I came back after being gone 2 weeks, I cleaned my email. Number 2, I did a brain dump. 3, I assessed the week and the month. What am I doing? Where am I traveling? Number 4, I visited my stretch goals. Again, if that's something you're interested in, I'm always here to help you with your stretch goals. 5, I created a new summer schedule because, again, the next 90 days look really different for me. Number 6, I scheduled out tasks for the week and for the month. 7, I reset our fridge and our meal plan, threw out all the vacation food and brought back in all the healthy food. Number 8, immediately had 2 full coaching days so I could touch base with my clients. 9, I let myself have a day to rest. Super light, easy day. Couple hours of tasks, checked out. Y'all, I'm not gonna, I watched multiple episodes of The Prodigal Son on Netflix. That is what I did. And it was awesome. And 10, I asked myself those reflection questions about what went well, what didn't, what I should do again, and what I would pivot if I did. So if you listen to this episode and you thought, oh my gosh, okay, this is something I've got to get better at. How in the world? She was like out about running like a wild person for 12 days straight and immediately flipped right back into the office. And y'all, on Monday, I spent the entire day with my, I don't know, mom, y'all, she's almost 67. The kids are loving it. The grandkids keep saying grandma's turning 6, 7. There we go. Don't tell her I told your age. Don't anybody tell her I told y'all her age. But I spent the day teaching her text and email automations, like teaching her how to do them, how to set up, how to respond to them, all these things. And I did it well. And historically, we don't have the greatest communication. Like, I've hired coaches before to help us increase our communication. She gets frustrated really easily, and it was all good. I mean, what a miracle. So that to be able to do that on the end of that massive long day, and that was the day after I helped her with a vendor show and talked to hundreds of people from 8 to 4. I mean, what a day. If you look at that and you're like, I've got to get better at this. Like, I cannot believe that she actually did this. Yo, I want you to book an Enneagram alignment session. It is a link in the thing in our show notes. It's a single session where, I mean, sure, we can touch a little bit on your Enneagram, but it's more about taking your Enneagram type, which is your personality, it's basically explaining like how you function best at life, taking that base knowledge and then moving into your life and figuring out how do we navigate those things of life and figuring out what's best for your personality that will protect your energy best as you're navigating this summer schedule. So if that's something you're interested in, head to the show notes, book that session. We can curate it very specifically for you to do that. Ignore what it actually says. That's what we're going to do. I would love to do that with you because, you know, y'all, I think that summer is a beautiful thing. I read recently that the average person only gets 80 summers. Let's not spend it stressed and exhausted and worried. Let's spend it as the very best version of ourselves. And how we do that is setting ourselves up for success with things like that. Setting ourselves up for success with how am I functioning best? What schedule serves me best? When am I most energized? When am I drained? Like, what's going to trigger me? How can I avoid that? And those are the things that we're going to talk about in that session together. So thank y'all for listening, and I will talk to y'all next time. Thanks for listening to All Things Excellence. If something landed with you today, I'd love for you to follow the show, share it with a friend, or leave a quick review. It helps more women find these transformational conversations. And if you're ready for support with your next step or needing someone to stand in the gap with you to figure out what that even is, I'd love to create that space for you. And my intro clarity call is a great place to start because life is too quick and too full to have to figure it out alone. Until next time, All Things Excellence fam, thank you for listening.